These stories are based on real-life incidents. Names, locations, and certain details have been changed to protect privacy. The purpose of this content is for awareness and informational storytelling only. We do not intend to target or defame any individual, group, or organization.
I never thought a simple surgery would change my life forever. In 2015, I was a journalist, a mother, a woman who loved to run, swim, and live life to the fullest. I was healthy, active, and full of energy. But then, something so ordinary, so medically routine, turned into a nightmare that would not only change my body, it would change my entire purpose in life. It started with a simple problem, something so many women face after childbirth, bladder leaks. I thought, okay, I'll just fix this and get back to my life. My doctor suggested a quick procedure, a pelvic mesh sling. 20 minutes, he said. A day surgery, you'll be home by evening. It sounded safe, normal, trustworthy. Little did I know that 20-minute surgery would launch me into years of pain, confusion, and ultimately into a fight for thousands of women around the world. I remember lying there under the harsh lights of the operating room, thinking how grateful I was for modern medicine. They said the mesh would fix my problem. A small piece of medical material, like a safety net that would support my bladder. But what they didn't tell me was that this mesh wasn't just any device. It was plastic, a permanent implant designed to fuse into my body tissue. I thought it was like a contraceptive coil, something that could be removed if it didn't work. But I was wrong. Once inside, it was meant to stay there forever. At first, I waited patiently for recovery, but as days turned into weeks, the pain began. Not ordinary post-surgery pain. No, it felt like razor blades inside my body. Every movement burned. Every step screamed. At my 6-week checkup, I told my surgeon how bad it was. He smiled politely and said, "Oh, I've never heard of complications from mesh before." But when I mentioned the name of a doctor known for removing mesh, his eyes shifted. He had heard of him. That was my first red flag. The moment I realized there was something deeply wrong beneath the surface. After that day, things spiraled quickly. Everywhere I turned for help, I was met with disbelief. Doctors told me I was just anxious. Some said my pain was in my head. But I knew my body was screaming, and I wasn't alone. Through late-night searches and desperate online posts, I found other women, thousands, with the same story. We were all in agony. Some couldn't walk without canes, some needed wheelchairs, some had the mesh cut through their organs, through their bladder walls, bowels, or vaginal tissue. And the worst part? Many were told the same lies. That's rare. That can't be happening. It's probably unrelated. We were being gaslit by the system meant to protect us. One evening, I sat at my kitchen table, laptop open, tears in my eyes, and I thought, if I, a journalist who knows how to write, how to expose stories, can be dismissed like this, what about everyone else? That night, I created a Facebook group. I named it Sling the Mesh. It was meant to be small, a handful of women supporting each other. But word spread faster than I could imagine. Every day, more women joined, each one with a story more heartbreaking than the last. By 2025, Over 12,000 members had joined from the UK, Australia, America, Canada. It was no longer a group. It was a movement. Together, we became the voices that refused to be silenced. I began using every skill I had. I wrote press releases. I contacted newspapers, radio stations, TV channels. I told anyone who would listen, this is not rare. This is real. Eventually, our stories reached Parliament. I stood there, knees shaking, heart pounding, and spoke for all of us who had been ignored. Our campaign, Sling the Mesh, led to monumental change. In 2017, the UK banned vaginal prolapse mesh. In 2018, they suspended bladder mesh slings. And in 2020, an independent review, the first Do No Harm report, officially recognized what we had been saying all along. Women had been dismissed, misled, and harmed by a medical system that refused to listen. For the first time, we were believed. But the fight didn't end there. Because the problem wasn't just about one device. It was about a systemic failure where profits and pride outweighed patient safety. We discovered that weak science and conflicts of interest allowed dangerous devices onto the market. Doctors were relying on flawed studies often written or funded by the same companies that made the devices. Our voices exposed that. We showed how the benefits were overstated and the risks were buried. That exposure led to new reforms, including the creation of the UK's Medical Devices Outcome Register, so every patient could finally be tracked, and no story would disappear into silence again. Sometimes people ask me, was it worth it? The years of pain, the stress, the late-night interviews, the tears. And I always say, yes, because behind every statistic, every headline, there's a human being. A mother who can no longer lift her child, a wife who lost her marriage because of the pain, a daughter who just wanted her life back. We are not case studies. We are not statistics. We are people, and we deserve to be heard. Over time, Sling the Mesh grew beyond women like me. We began hearing from men harmed by hernia mesh or bladder slings after prostate surgery. Even breast cancer survivors reached out. Their reconstructive mesh had caused similar agony. Different stories, same betrayal, same silence. But together, we grew louder. Our pain became power, and our power became change. If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be standing in front of politicians fighting for global medical safety, I would have laughed. I didn't choose this life. It chose me. But maybe that's what an accidental advocate is. Someone who steps up, not because they want to, but because they have to. Today, our campaign continues. We still fight for proper medical training, for transparency, for compassion. Because even now, there are women still suffering, still unheard. And until every single one of them receives the care and justice they deserve, I won't stop. None of us will. I've learned that true advocacy doesn't start in Parliament. It starts in pain. It starts with one voice saying, "This isn't right." If you're watching this and you or someone you love has been hurt by medical devices, by negligence, or by silence, please don't give up. Speak up. Reach out. Because one voice can spark a movement, and sometimes that's all it takes to change the world.
I am Sara. This is my story. And this is for everyone who was told their pain didn't matter, because it does. Subscribe for more true human stories that deserve to be heard. Watch our full investigations and survivor stories on our channel.